Hey, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honor to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. This is Rob Amaf with the Nebraska camp, and this is GMS Any Fort, Nebraska. Any push the mark. And yeah, man, I was just looking at the things that are going on right now. There's a lot of things going on in the world right now. And we'll start off with this precept real quick. All right, so we're going to go into Romans 13 and 11, okay? It says, in that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. And how do we know that? When we go into 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, it then tells us what? That 2nd Ezra 9 and 1, he answered me then and said, measure the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And we're in a time of high time of these prophecies, because there's earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, as of recent, Salakia, I'm looking up something else, but as of recent, they had Colombia, okay, 7.4, Indonesia, 7.7. That's the 10th of August. 15th of August, 7.7 in Indonesia. Mexico, 7.3. Philippines as well. Tonga, 7.5. Vanuatu, 7.3. Okay. All these places are having high level earthquakes. All right. The earthquakes in what? Diverse places. Okay. I don't care if you can explain it scientifically or not. It's earthquakes in diverse places. Esau try to blind you with giving you the reason why something happened to make you think it's not spiritual. Everything's spiritual. All right. And these earthquakes in diverse places, whether it's HAARP, whether it's, natural occurrences, it's still earthquakes in diverse places. All right. And then you have the fires that's going on, right? From as of August 16th, you have France, Spain, Greece, Italy, Portugal, United Kingdom, Belgium, Germany, United States, and Canada. All are dealing with fires currently. The U.S. had a big old Midwestern fire. Okay, had to relocate the cows and shit. California's fires. All right, now people in England are having temperatures, and then the problem, reaction, solution of what? Global warming, global this. But nobody is saying, how about Shemal Shai is coming back? Because Esau's done his number on making this world faithless, man. Through his pseudoscience, through his propaganda, through his news, all right, through his sorceries. He's warped and zapped the spirit away from our people and away from the public, okay? Because everybody, whether you want to believe it or not, everybody is connected to Yahweh Shem Shai, whether you're a demon or not. So whether you're a heathen, an Edomite, you may not have the spirit on you, but the Lord can talk to you. He can communicate with you to do good and or to do evil. It's not like it's just the Lord just deals with us. We're the ones that deal with him actively, because he is the existing power, even to the heathens. All right, like the scriptures say, for what if some did not believe? Shall it make the faith of the Most High without effect? Like the Lord's still going to do his will. He still affects a heathen, still a heathen, whether they don't believe in the Most High or not. Okay? So whether you believe that these earthquakes were done through the prophecies of Yahweh Shema Shai, or HARP, or, global warming, or whatever you want to put it as, it's earthquakes in diverse places, and it was prophesied. And that's a warning that the end is near. Okay? What is the end? The turning of a kingdom. Okay? It shall translate back from one people to another, and that people is going to be the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the 12 tribes, which are the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? And they're trying to suppress that with their pseudoscience. There's a battle going on that Jake don't even see and know about, because they don't want to adhere to the prophets. And we're out here telling you the problem. We're out here telling you the battle. There's spiritual warfare. Okay? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities in darkness and wicked rulers in high places. Okay? That's what we're battling against. All right? So, and the only way we can win this battle is if we trust in Yahweh Shema Shai. Sirach chapter 2, name whoever trusted in the Lord and was confounded. Right? Leaning on Yahweh Shema Shai's judgment. All right? And the thing is like, these prophecies are signs to tighten up. Pretty much. To sum it up, it's signs to tighten up. But how do you tighten up? You do more of what the Lord needs of you and walk in the direction of what he's prophetically telling you. Okay? He's telling you that this earth, knowing that heaven and earth shall be dissolved by thermonuclear missiles, you know all the end. What manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So as we get closer, you start seeing earthquakes in diverse places, fires. You need to be praying more. You need to be reading more. You need to be rehearsing the righteous acts more. You need to be more serious. But you know how Jake is on their end. They last minute niggas. Jake like to do shit last minute, man. All right? And that laziness is a demon, man. That's why you got to go to these scriptures, because it tells you, go to the ant. So in Proverbs, it tells you, you know what I'm saying? In Proverbs 6:6, it says, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. Right? Which having no guide or overseer or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So pretty much you work without the initiation. Nobody got to nudge you all the time. Nobody got to tell you. But thankfully the Lord set up prophets and people to guide, to tell you, hey, you're going the wrong way. Right? So you're supposed to have initiative, and the prophecies coming to pass supposed to incentivize. That's our incentives, is the prophecies coming to pass. It's letting you know that you're closer and closer and closer, man. All right? And let me see here, get this precept. I want to get this precept in that regard. It says, Proverbs 16:2. It says, all the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. So pretty much you'll think everybody think that they're right. Everybody think that they're doing right, but the Lord's will and prophecies are what guides us. You know what I'm saying? So you being self-willed is a demon that distorts direction when it comes to following the Lord, man. All right? Because you got to be selfless in this doctrine. To make your body a living sacrifice is not a self-willed energy. To come out here and teach, whether they were here, whether they were forbear, there's no reward for us carnally on this side for it. You don't get no, this ain't no podcast. We ain't doing this for no clicks, likes, and views. Like, share, comment, subscribe. You don't hear us saying none of that dumbass shit. Okay? Because it's not a business. There's no reward on this side, which is why the disciples asked, what shall we get for our services? Right? When they asked Yahweh Shai, and did Yahweh Shai say, man, get the hell on with that? No. He responded, you shall have thrones in the kingdom. You should get you shall get a reward for your services on this side. Okay? And it takes sacrifice. It takes being an outlier. It takes going against the grain. All right? And it sucks to go against the grain in Babylon if you're carnal. The more carnally attached you are, it's going to suck. The more kids you have, the more job, the better job, and or the bigger business you have, it's going to make it more difficult. And that's why the Lord said, come out of her. Be pilgrims upon the earth. Don't be attached, because I need you to do things. I need you to walk in a certain direction. I need you to get up when I tell you to get up. And the less shit you got going on in this world, the easier it is for you to get up, for us to get up. You know? And that's why, you know, even for brothers, because we got shit going on. We ain't being wicked for having kids. You ain't wicked for having a business. You ain't wicked for having a good job. You're not. But you better get your ass up when your number called. You know what I'm saying? And you got to understand, if you want to be first, you slowing yourself down. For me to get up and go somewhere in the morning with my kids, when I ain't had no kids, it's just me getting cleaned up and going. But then you got to get the kids together. That's why the scriptures say, woe to him who gives suck in those days. I don't care how much you love your kid. That's what the Lord says. You know what I'm saying? That's something I had to accept. Like, that's what it is. It's going to be way more difficult. You know, so if brothers were prudent and wise, you wouldn't have any kids on this side. But even that statement in itself seemed crazy to say, because that's the whole point of living. But that shows if you locked in a prophecy or not. Okay? Because they're going to consider the end of our lives madness. Okay? But the closer we get to these prophecies, the more it's going to seem like we ain't tripping. Same thing with that 2020 jump shot, man. Had everybody taking that shit, bugging out, fucking with it and shit, because society was hindering if you didn't take it, and people were logically saying, if you don't do this, then you're not trying to get us back on track to live in society, ultimately. And then now it comes out that it all was bullshit, which we knew from the jump. We knew it was a government farce, and we try to warn our people. All right, but through their attempts to, you know, setting up YouTube with medical misinformation, they suppressed it. But at the same time, it was enough out there for even the whistleblowers, for Jake to make a conscious decision. Okay? You can't sit here and constantly say, I don't know. Proverbs. The Lord gonna judge you, man. Better get your lazy ass up and find out. If you don't know, it's because you wasn't looking. You didn't want to know. All right? It says, seek him while he may be found. So if you don't know in the time of prophecy, I don't know, it's not going to work. You know? I didn't know any better, it's not going to work when prophets existed. Okay? Doing this selfless deed of teaching and exhorting. It don't make us special. The Lord put the light in us, and we shall be rewarded, Lord's will, for that work, man. All right? You know, as long as we continue, our name is going to be in that book, man. You know? But at the end of the day, we're laying our treasures in heaven, where earth and moth doth not rust and corrupt. But the bulk of our people can't do that because Babylon has all these gizmos and gadgets to make you feel like you're losing out. Okay? Damn, I'm gonna get this car. Damn, I want to see my kid make it in the NFL or become a doctor, and we take vacations in Fiji Islands. Fuck the Fiji Islands, man. Go all the way over there and shit's expensive. Fuck around, get food poisoning, and food all bland and shit. You know? They got to be kingdom minded. That's why we occupied in prophecies, man, because we ready to get out of here, man. That's why we talking about this. It'll rub some of you niggas the wrong way. We talking about forest fires. A lot of you niggas will talk about wildfires. A lot of you niggas think we destructive and we want everything to go bad because we doing bad. Or something like that. No, we telling you about prophecies, man. You know? And it shows where niggas' mind at, where their spirit is at. Their spirit ain't on the Lord. Their spirit ain't getting the hell up out of here. Even these false prophets, IUIC, Johanna, all these top tier wicked ass niggas, man. They don't talk about nothing about these forest fires and how we're closer to getting out of here. They'll say it as it's hot news, And it's a travesty, and they'll line scriptures up. That's their only incentive, because it's too blatant. But outside of that, if it ain't worthy talking about as far as a hot topic, they're going to leave it the fuck alone, whether it's incorporated with prophecy or not. You don't hear them talking about missiles and geopolitics of getting closer to the MOTB or the Third World War. They're constantly telling you how good it is to be an Israelite. And if you keep doing what we tell you to do, that you're going to get salvation, i.e. keep the laws. That's why they try to hide behind that. They try to hide behind the laws to not prophesy. Ultimately, we're supposed to be occupied in prophecies. You're supposed to know to keep the laws. You're a grown, intelligent person, man. If you don't know what swine is, and you're not supposed to touch it with your flesh, then you're just dumb and undisciplined. Okay? We ain't here to talk about these base subjects of keeping the law. That's common sense, to keep the law to your best abilities. Okay? But what's not common sense is how to move in this maze called Babylon, man. Through all their propaganda. Okay? How to stay on that path, that straight gate. That's the real concern. Okay? And there's so many things that Esau has spilled out there to make people degenerate. And these other camps aren't factoring these things in. Like the scriptures say, they outweighed the mercy and grace. They're unmerciful. It's like they say, you break the law, you're an Israelite. That's unmerciful, because that's how we got in this truth. Okay? The Lord ain't bring us into this gospel as Gentiles, Israelites being a Gentile state of mind. And he ain't bring us back into this situation that we're in because of our faith. Okay? He brought us in because of mercy. So we're supposed to show mercy. Book of James. You know? We're supposed to be disciplined. And the people that wakes up, they follow the prophecy. They adhere. Once you're healed, what do he tell you? Sin no more. Learn from your ways and prove yourself. You know, and that's what we do in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's what we ought to do. And that's why we're talking about prophecies. That's why our life is no longer of our own. And we dedicate ourselves, our mental obligation, social, okay? It's a lot of shit us as prophets, as men, as regular men, that we could be doing with our years. But we dedicated ourselves to this craft, and we reflect it in our actions. All right, so when these prophecies come to pass, yeah, hell yeah, we're excited, man. All right, hell yeah, we're going to report it. Storms, uproars of the people, okay? This ain't just to say breaking news. This is to let y'all know we almost out this thing. Anything that points in that direction, you know? So call all Yahweh Shem Yahushai for those who are occupied in prophecies and is pushing this prophecy. And what is a prophecy? That there's going to be a third world war. It's going to be famine. It's going to be the MOTB, martial law concentration camps. The chariots are going to come down. All right? Nuclear missiles. All right? And we're going to keep on pushing that until it gets to the point that we just going to be a broken record. Because it's going to manifest just like the MOTB. All right? And we're going to keep on talking about it. But it's manifesting now. So it's not a big-ass argument. We in 6G. Headed over to 7 and 8G. Flock cameras. Okay? The 2020 Jabberwocky. QR codes. All right? Cryptocurrency. All right? Cash App. PayPal. Buying things through social media. Buying things you could buy. You could look at Amazon Prime and they show a commercial and they advertise something and you can click buy. we right here. The MOTB is right here, man. You know, and we're going to keep on breaking it down and going into the intellectuals of it. And there's going to be counter-intellectuals to say we're wrong because we probably missed some type of footnote or at the end of the day, that thing going to lead to the MOTB. I don't give a fuck if it was at 2.5% or 2.7 at a rating or whatever the fuck they want to try to bring out incredulities through these forest fires, through these earthquakes, through the movement of the MOTB, through the lakes and the water receding. They could try to blame it on the data centers, global warming. Shit, me speaking as a man, I think they converting this water into these underground cities, man. Because they know all hell about to break loose. Okay? Because they're fucking with fresh water. They've been buying farmlands fucking with fresh water. Okay? There's been things coming out saying the data centers don't even take that much water. They have other ways to cool certain things. You know what I'm saying? I don't see nobody pumping hello. I don't see no water systems constantly running. You know? There's data centers all over. And you don't see no water pumping. They just created that problem. Raise your water bill up. Doing all kind of shit, man. The Hoover Dam fucking up. You know, the water levels forget that lake over there that's affiliated with the Hoover Dam and all that. Lake Lanier, I believe. You know? It's a problem reaction solution, in my opinion, man. But one thing that ain't an opinion is that there's going to be a famine. There's going to be the MOTB. It's going to be a third world war. It's going to be martial law. Okay? So anything that happens that look like it's pointing that direction, we're going to report. So with that being said, we're going to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rechal HaKodash. Double honor to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessed salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. Shalom.